Welcome to NuttieBuddie Entertainment. The ugly. Ew!
Let's see here. Sarah, you got an ugly for us?
We kind of got into it already. My main one is just Lady Sif and how useless her appearance was. Felt like a waste. And because it was a waste, then it felt unnecessary, and that was one of the concerns I had going into this movie, seeing that she was credited, was that they weren't going to give her her due. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I agree. Any other comments on Lady Sif?
Yeah, she's my only ugly in this. Tonally, when she appeared on screen, it was complete opposite of what we got from previous Lady Sif in Thor 1 and 2. She was very just like, it's like they told her, like, okay, I need you to take your personality and like amp it up to 10. Like, oh, let me die here on this planet so I can get into Valhalla. And, and it was completely just like over the top and overdone. And then they just, what they wanted to do was smash like Thor 1 and 2 and like rebuild it all. But I don't think they needed to rebuild it all, especially with her and the Warriors 3. There was a good groundwork for, developing that relationship and everything. But she wasn't in the previous Ragnarok, and they had to do something with her in this movie, and they just completely dropped the ball with it. They did such a bad job with her briefly in there, made her completely weird, just like tone dead for the entire movie. And that's just in my early.
Because even you would think Thor's lost all of these people he cares about, and we're supposed to presume like this is his first time seeing her in a long time, or years, whatever it may be. And there's no excitement, there's no joy that, oh, my friend is still alive, like I have someone again, which again would have been like you had mentioned, if she had been able to fight, would have had this sense of camaraderie for him. Again, open his heart to, obviously it's not romantic love with her, but this fellowship that they had as warriors, and it's just like none of that happened.
I feel in Thor 1 they had a little bit of a,
but that's
it's implied.
It is.
I know, but it's implied. It's also in the comics too.
She has a thing for him though, right? It's not really him for her in the MCU. I'm saying so. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think you said it, like the first Thor was a good movie. Like it was a good movie, so you didn't have to destroy Thor just because the Dark World wasn't great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I don't know why they did that to her. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good one. Brian reminded me of that scene. The similar thing I had with the hospital scene, where it's like, okay, he finds her, the poor lady has her arm lopped off, and she's like, am I dead? And they turn it into a little silly, like, back and forth banter thing. And they're like telling jokes. And it's like, the lady's arms just got cut off. Like, we don't have to have jokes in the scene. We can just, wow, yeah, my poor friend that I've known for 1,000 years has her arm lopped off at the shoulder. Let's have some dignity for 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's see. Brian, you said that was your only ugly, right? So, Chris, you got ugly for us?
Yeah, I think this is my only ugly. I thought in general, the fight and action scenes in Ragnarok were really like clean, easy to follow, bright. Again, like I said, the immigrant song scene, the fight on the Rainbow Bridge, it's very easy to follow. And I felt like there was twice they fell into the classic Marvel trap in this, where they have it's all CGI, and it's filmed at night or filmed in the dark, so you can't really see what's going on, so we can hide all the CGI. So that would be the fight scene in New Asgard. I just think it turns into an incomprehensible blur. My eyes glaze over. And then the scene at the end in whatever, that temple or whatever that was, when we have the kids fighting the shadow monsters and them fighting Gore for the most part. And maybe it's just the choice of using shadow monsters as villains. But again, I also thought that was just like a badly shot, incomprehensible CGI thing that just my eyes completely glazed over. It was just blah for me. So that was an ugly for me. But on the other hand, I will say the Shadow Realm fight was really creative and
that was
really
cool.
enjoyable. That was really cool. So I don't think it was all bad. That was a great scene, but the Asgard scene and the final fight scene I thought was just like CGI slop.
Yeah, so didn't notice. Gonna come off
Knew
and
you were
say
gonna
that.
say that.
Yeah, didn't notice, but I'm glad you did, Chris. Glad you did. By the way, did you know that Thor was produced by Paramount? I mean, distributed by Paramount. So I think this was before Disney got a hold of Thor.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was I just looked it up. I was like, maybe that's why the tones are so different as well. Anyway, my ugly is the gods. I just could not stand the gods. I'm sorry. I was telling Brian this during our live, and this is sort of how I feel. You know, we're all waiting for this connective tissue to blend the phase 4 projects. And one thing that they've already established is there's a rift between like the godlike beings, right, that used to be worshipped by humans that are no longer worshipped, and humans, right, and maybe other planets as well, whether it's in Moon Knight or Eternals or whatever. So I felt like because apparently Zeus is supposed to be the guy of all guys, like the god of all gods, right? Like that's what he's supposed to be. Like Odin was like a real god to me. Like somebody like he was a leader, he was a warrior, he was wise. Why in the world would Odin ever like answer to Zeus? You know what I'm saying? And so like my thing, and so also they've established the kind of wisdom that those gods can have. So like Zeus to me should have been sort of like Odin, like wiser, maybe he could have been arrogant, that's fine, but he was just way over the top comedic. And the problem that could have happened was, you know, like in Moon Knight, the thing the Egyptian gods were saying was like humans left us first. So we don't have anything to do with them because they left us first. And that could have been like the big problem, you know, like, hey, you know, why would we risk our necks going outside of this sanctuary we have where we're most protected for these humans? Because they didn't care about us. So why should we go risk our necks for them? And that could have been I'm just saying, like, it would have made way more sense. I also think it would have put a like sort of a gravity to this, you know, the end credit scene where you're like, okay, we're going to go teach these humans now who we are or whatever. And it would have been like, just the God portion could have been just so much, it's done so much better if they would have just been a little bit more serious with it and not made them all so goofy. So I just really disliked the way they portrayed the gods because it went against everything else that the MCU already established. So it's just felt so disconnected from the rest of the MCU. And that's the main reason. Like, if you want to say, was the scene funny? Yeah, it was funny. There was funny moments, but it just was everything else was sort of disconnected from what they already established when it comes to the gods in the MCU. So that's why I didn't like it, because it felt so disconnected.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Other than the gods, it was too many jokes, and the kids were part of my ugly, but we already talked about all that, so we don't need to rehash that out. So anywho, any other ugly guys?
No.
Okay, let's talk about changes. One change. Thanks so much for listening to Brian, Sarah, Chris, and I break down some of Thor: Love and Thunder. Let us know what you think of the movie in the comments below. What is your great, good, bad, and ugly? If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, click on one of the links below or search NuttieBuddie wherever you find or listen to podcasts. We should be available there. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and as always, thanks so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll talk to you guys soon.